today. So every day we start fresh because we can't affect the past, but we damn sure can make a difference today.
Welcome back to another episode of Shop Talk. Today we're discussing the penultimate episode of The Rookie, 817, titled Dead Ringer. There were quite a few returning characters. Some were good, some not so much. We will break down everything in our recap after we go through a bit of news.
Yeah, so we don't really have any new episode descriptions, obviously, because next week's the finale, but we do have the promo. So we see
Mhm.
that the team's launching a high stakes search to take down the notorious criminal, whichever it's back.
Mhm.
Um, so that's seen in the promo. We don't really see anything else that's listed in the promo, or that's listed in the description, like Lucy's leadership, Wesley tests the boundaries of his friendships, and Nolan's trying
Yeah,
to balance duty and family. We don't really see any of that, so that's going to be interesting. But
yeah,
as the promo ends, Nolan is saying, at least it sounds like officer down.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm going with the theory that Tim's the officer down. So yeah.
yeah. I mean, I thought it was like interesting how they edited it to be like, Nolan asking Tim about the ring, like at the
Hmm.
very start of the promo, and then it's like that would be like it'd be a cruel full circle moment if he's
Yeah.
the one to like radio that, and it is if
Yeah.
it does end up being Tim. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I could see it being Tim though, just because he's got that big storyline. Plus, remember when we last saw Keith Everett, he was like, "You're gonna regret this" or whatever. And Tim was like,
that
"I
is
don't really
very true.
care." Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very true.
So, but yeah, I mean that's about it. We see Guards is back next episode.
Mhm.
So that'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't believe that next week's already the finale, but like I'm ready for it. I
yeah,
kind of can't believe that what happened in the penultimate happened in this episode and not the finale, but like it makes sense because we're
yeah,
setting up for season 9 and Everett's we're supposed to assume that Everett's going to be the new big bad for season 9, I guess. So, yeah.
yeah,
But you want to
yeah.
talk about the next point of
Yeah,
news?
so we just wanted to say that there's the rookie cast is doing another convention in Paris. Melissa and Lisette just went to New Zealand and did a convention there. So there's been a lot of like content you know, online on Instagram, Twitter, things like that. So be sure to like catch up on that. So yeah, it'll be fun because they're booked and busy,
Yeah.
really. So yeah.
Yeah. And like in May, there's the Orlando one
Oh right. Yeah.
and to Nashville. Like there's a bunch of other conventions coming up too. So like
Yeah.
yeah, all the rookie BTS account, I'm sure we'll be sharing everything. We'll try to share what we
Mhm.
can and yeah, but
Mhm.
it'll be fun. I'm living for all of the content that's to come, but also like I kind of wish it wasn't like right when the shows end because we're gonna be like starved for content like August.
Very
But
true.
they'll be filming again, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And we don't
And
know
who
like
knows?
the start
Maybe,
date.
yeah, I was gonna say maybe we'll get a fall premiere or like a
Hmm.
mid-fall premiere instead of January. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully we'll find out the schedule soon. But even then, I feel like they've always kind of set the schedule like later on. I don't know.
mhm.
But I wouldn't be surprised if we get another mid-season premiere like in
Yeah.
January. So, yeah. And then if you haven't checked it out already, Patrick Kelleher's Seed and Spark campaign for his film Frick is still going on. I just every day like he's posting new content and it's truly the best thing ever. Like he's just so amped up for this and love to see it. So, yeah. But I think with that we'll just get right into the episode. So, so we'll start off with the Glasser stuff. So John calls Nyla to tell her that Miranda, Liam's wife, took off with the kids and they have to find her before her 2 p.m. court hearing, otherwise she'll get arrested and Liam will get the kids. So Bailey is like, well, if a serial killer was about to get joint custody of your kids, why would you run? Like, wouldn't you run? And Nyla agrees, and she's like, Yeah, but Miranda ran because she, saying that like she wouldn't be found, but Miranda will be found in a hot minute, according to Nyla. So they have to get her back under the radar. And the second they issue a bolo, it'll become official. And so Glasser's lawyer will hound the DA until he files charges. So we see John going, so he says he's going into the station, but Nyla and Bailey are both like, no, you literally just got shot and need to take it easy. And John can't even put his shoes on, apparently, and needs Bailey's help to put his pants on, which we didn't need that, but
No.
okay. I mean, I could have inferred it. Like, it would have been fine
Yeah.
if I was really that curious.
Yeah.
Also, like, the vest got it. So he didn't
Uh-huh.
have like a bullet wound, did he?
Oh, that's true. I mean, maybe it's just because of his age, everything hurts more. Like, you know that meme, like that Parks
Yeah.
and Rec meme or something? Everything
Yeah.
hurts and I feel like I'm dying. Like,
Yeah.
maybe that's how he feels.
I mean, it probably is. And like, it took his breath away with it, right? Like it knocked the wind out of him. But yeah, I remember Celina being like, the vest got it, like you're fine. But
Yeah.
yeah, he was like down bad. So I don't
Yeah.
know. It probably is his age catching up
I
to
mean,
him.
I
I
guess
don't
because
know.
it like they tried to do the continuity of like it's been a day later or something.
Yeah.
So it's like, but it's weird to like see things a week later and try to like
Yeah.
picture it in your head of like, oh, okay, that was literally yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So John ropes Bailey into all of this because why not? What else does she have to do?
Apparently nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I would assume she took off the day of work or like a week of work to be with him, but yeah, I was like, okay. So Miles mentions that he's called every convenience store in the area, and a woman fitting Miranda's description bought a burner phone 3 blocks from her house. So he's got the number, and Bailey's like, we can't just call her and, talk some sense into her. Bailey, 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 you've been around the crew before to know that it's never just that easy.
Yeah, I'm surprised she said that.
Yeah. Yeah, truly, because also like Bailey, I feel like you've probably done stuff like this in the past. Like what haven't you done?
Yeah.
Um, so they say no, she's not going to answer a call from an unknown number, and they risk spooking her and going further off the radar. So they have to track her phone. So John, Bailey, Nyla, and Miles pull up on the street near the house Miranda's hiding in. And John gets out of the car and like winces in pain, and he's like, "I'm fine, I'm fine. I could feel your eyes," talking to Bailey, and obviously like Miranda's not going to go back willingly, and so they have to explain to her that she could be charged with felony parental abduction, and if she still says no, then they have to like then what? But they have to insist though the law's clear once they know that she's abducted her kids that they have to arrest her. And so they have to handle this carefully. So we see John and Nyla knock on the door, and the old high school friend that she's staying with covers for her, and Miranda's like, no, it's fine, like let them in. So Miranda talks to John and Nyla, and she's like, I failed my kids. I let a monster tuck them in every night, and it wasn't until Theo lied, that it wasn't until Theo lied that, she realized like they just can't go back. Um, and so Nyla's like, well, the custody hearing might go your way. And Miranda's like, would might be good enough for if it were your kid. Which she has a good point. And Nyla's like, no, it wouldn't. And so she just wants to go, but they won't let her. They can't let her. And even if they did, Miranda wouldn't make it 2 days. I love how they have like all of the confidence in her of like, yeah, no, you're not gonna like be able to do this. Like,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, they're probably right. Like she wouldn't, but um and so they tell her that when she gets arrested, it's game over, and if she goes back, there is a chance that she'll get custody. Or there's a chance he'll get custody, but if she doesn't, like he gets them for sure. So we see Malcolm tell Glasser what's going on with Miranda, and Glasser's not happy, obviously, saying that Miranda has to be punished. And just as Malcolm says that she will be, and he's going to go talk to the judge, Nolan comes in with Miranda using the story that her car broke down. She called the LAPD, and he just happened to be in the area. And so Malcolm calls them out on the lie, but Nolan stands firm. And so then the hearing starts, and the judge is like, he starts talking but stops once he sees Nolan like sitting in the peanut gallery. And he's like, "Wait, weren't you the cop that was shot outside yesterday? And what's your part in all of this?" And Nolan's like, "I mean, I was there when we arrested him, and I was there
Mhm.
yesterday." And the judge has Nolan go up to the witness box, and I love how Nolan's like, "Me in the witness box?" And the judge was like, "Yeah, you've been in court before, right? You know how this all works."
Yeah,
I feel like it was the comedic bit that we needed right then.
yeah,
Um, so Malcolm calls an objection, because Nolan's not on the original witness list. But the judge is like, I want to hear what he has to say. So the judge asks Nolan if he believes that Glasser is a killer. Nolan answers a few things that he knows for a fact. And Malcolm argues that he should be allowed to cross-examine, and the judge grants that. Um, and so Nolan's asked if he's biased against Glasser based on what he's done. And he says that he put his body between a bullet and Glasser yesterday. And so if he's biased, he's got a funny way of showing it. I love that line,
hmm
truly.
yeah,
Um, and so Nolan's testimony was credible, the judge thought. And so the judge grants sole legal and physical custody of both the kids and to Miranda, and then a protective order is issued against Glasser. The entire time the judge is saying all of this, Glasser just looks so casual and almost has a smirk across his face.
yeah,
And it drove me bananas.
mhm,
I was like, why is he like this? Like, I just want to know.
yeah,
And so he walks up to Nolan at the end and he's like, did that feel good? And says that BTK and Golden State, previous serial killers, both went dormant and when they had young kids to take care of. Ominous music starts playing. He then thanks Nolan again for saving his life and then says, in some ways, whatever happens next, it's on you.
like that's nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that a threat? Because it kind of sounds like one.
Yeah,
And you're doing that in court. And then just the way that like Glasser like opened the door,
uh-huh.
like he like pushed him. I was like, okay, Glasser, you know what? I think you may need some anger management courses here.
Yeah,
Like, what do you mean? Also, why are we threatening John Nolan? Like, I don't get
yeah,
it, but okay. So Nolan's back at the station telling Nyla about the court hearing, and he's like, I wish that you could have seen Glasser's face. And Nyla brings up that Glasser won't leave them alone, meaning Miranda and the kids. And Nolan's like, yeah, I already thought of that. I told Miranda to call me or to call us if he starts stirring up trouble, and we'll be there. And that's like all that we see of all the Glasser stuff. And I'm just kind of like, okay, so why was it in this episode? Because I feel like we could
yeah.
have had more Chenford, more Celina, more Aaron, like more Monica stuff. Why? I mean, I get it because of last week, but like, I don't know. It just could have been like done after they found Miranda for right now. I guess they had to wrap it up, but yeah, it
Yeah.
seemed kind of
Or
odd to me.
supposedly
Yeah,
wrap it up because who knows? Like, he could still make an appearance too, and like it could be a surprise.
yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's about it for all the Glasser stuff, which it was fine.
yeah.
But
Um,
now to one of the best parts.
yeah. So, we had Chenford moments, and then also Aaron came back, of course, and Selena had some like fun, shenanigans happen on for her as well. So, we kind of just put all that together. So in the beginning of the episode, Aaron was just minding his own business, driving down the street, jamming out to music, living his best life. And then before he knows it, he's like boxed in by these two cars and he ends up getting carjacked. And they took his brand new Kawakami watch too, which was apparently worth $800,000. I about fell over when they said that. I was like, holy crap.
Insane.
Yeah, insane.
I
Oh my
wouldn't
goodness.
feel comfortable wearing a watch of that like uh, amount on my wrist.
I'm just surprised it like wasn't just made out of like straight diamonds and it weighed like, 20 pounds or something.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause it
I
looked really
mean,
sleek and like, I don't know. Yeah.
like I don't know. I wear a little Apple Watch and every day I knock it and I'm like looking at the screen, I'm like, I'm gonna crack this thing. And I don't. I would be like protect my wrists in bubble wrap like for
Yeah,
800K?
yeah,
Crazy. But the car
yeah.
like was worth way more too.
I know and it was the green car too, like that we've all
Uh-huh.
come to know and love. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, not the
Yeah.
car.
But also him like jamming out in the car. Me.
Yeah. Well,
Me.
and like it was like a cover song of like a Britney Spears
Yeah.
song, I think. And I was like, you go, Aaron. Like, that's great.
He was rocking out to it. And I'm just like, I've missed him so much. And I'm so glad that they got him back for 2 episodes this season. But
Yeah,
like, I just want him back, like full
yeah,
time. Can we just like
yeah,
rewrite history and get him back? Now that Monica's gone,
yeah,
let's get him back.
yeah. Especially
Yeah.
just because he's like, not that he was like uptight or anything like when he was there, but it was more like, he had the, reputation to shed and
Hmm.
like, wanted to bring, like the, justice back to, the job and stuff. But now it's just like he's just like he drops by and then dips out. Like
Yeah.
he's, like he's so chill and like casual. I mean, like he still does his job obviously
Yeah.
because he worked with them on the case, but it was just like he's just so relaxed, even
Yeah.
more so now.
Well, even like when he first came in, like he was very much the rookie. So like he had to have that like good boy, like good scout, kind of sense about him. But I
Mhm.
mean, even like thinking back to when he came back for the first time this season, like he walked in and he was like, "What up, Lou?" or whatever to Gray. And I'm like,
Yeah.
where was this Aaron Thorson when like we had him regularly?
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe like you said it is because he, only comes and goes and like he can kind of be like that, but I'm like I want more of him. More of
Yeah.
him, please.
Same.
So, yeah. It was good to have him back though, for sure.
Yeah. Although, like, not him getting like the people that stole his stuff, like kicking him to the ground, and then the title card comes up. I'm like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah. I'm like,
Not cool.
listen, this isn't necessary.
No. I like wasn't sure how it was all gonna fit together, honestly, because I was not expecting Aaron to be at the cold open part of the episode.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't really
yeah.
expecting Aaron to have like his own kind of storyline in a way.
Hmm.
Like I figured he would just be there to like assist with all the Monica stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
So,
Yeah. But yeah, so they're like at the station and he's telling, Tim, Lucy, Celina that, this happened. And Lucy noted that Aaron, of course, guys like him always have fancy watches. And, he's like, well, what do you mean by that? And Lucy says that, Aaron looks expensive. So that's why. And I mean, he agreed. So, like,
yeah.
that's a fair assessment, I think. Um,
Yeah.
so, and then we had Tim advising Lucy and Celina to look into it with, I guess, like they have a commerce squad who may
Hmm.
have like a lead on the car anyway at body shops. So they'll like check those. Um, Tim then called Angela over as if she were a waiter, which was funny. Um, but it was to look at rings with him, except he didn't sort them by color or clarity. He just thought they were all clear, but nope, there's a system. So Angela basically like gets to work and like he goes to check on something else. He tells her not to let anyone else know about what, she's doing. 5 seconds later, cue Angela bringing in Nyla, who assuming would have brought in, Celina and Aaron because when Tim comes back, he's like, what the hell? Because they're all huddled around his computer and then
Yeah.
look up at him. Because Angela needed a second opinion and apparently a third, fourth, and fifth as well.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, but so they kind of like he kind of gets them to back away a little bit. Celina offered to ask Lucy in a subtle way about rings since they're paired up all day, but Tim's not too keen on that. Aaron said that he has a jeweler contact that he can connect Tim with, and apparently the jeweler like goes to them. And he's the one that hooked Aaron up with the now stolen watch. So he like Aaron went to like grab his wrist to show it, and it's not there, and he was bummed out about it. So, um, yeah. So we then see that Celina and Lucy are riding together, and Celina is voice memoing Raj to return her anthropology order to UPS, and um, Lucy says that, they must be getting serious if they, are doing things like that because they're like all domestic. And Celina tells her that Raj is thinking about proposing and she's trying to figure out what kind of diamonds she'd like. And Lucy says that she'll help her do research at lunch and Celina will send her some links. Unbeknownst to her, that whole message was sent to Raj via voice message. So that's
Crazy.
no good. Because then it like cuts over to Raj. He's like just chilling, playing guitar, and then he sees the message, plays a part of it, and in a panic, FaceTimes John, of all people, who's in
Yeah.
the car with Bailey. So he like asks for advice. Um, because apparently Raj is ambivalent about like marriage tenants in general, but if Celina thinks that he's gonna put a ring on it, then sure, like he'll, you know, change.
I just
But
want to know
they,
when Raj and like Nolan became besties.
well, yeah, I know. I was like, of all
Because
the
that felt
people,
off.
yeah, I don't know. It was just like so random. But then again, like if Lucy's in the car with Selena, then like who else would he call?
Right. Like he's
Like, I
not
don't
gonna
know.
call Miles. Well, maybe,
Yeah,
but he's not gonna call Tim. Like, I don't know. I
yeah,
just thought it was random.
yeah. But Valen concurs that Rod should really just call Selena so they can talk about it and not, do this back and forth with them. Um, so back at the station, Selena comes up to Nyla and John, who tells her that Raj said she told him about proposing and she wasn't aware that she did that until she looked at her phone and oops, the voice memo sent. Um, and she, kind of defends herself. She was trying to be clever and figure out what kind of ring Lucy might like. Of course, John is confused and then shocked to find out Tim's proposing to Lucy. Like, of course, he's the last to know.
Mhm.
Um, in classic John fashion, like we see the, realization all over his face. And it's like kind of like fun to just see him like, oh, Tim's
Yeah.
proposing to Lucy. Okay. Like he's all caught up now.
Yeah.
Um, but Selena says, he did not hear it from her. So yeah, that's kind of a quick like scene for them. And then for Chenford, we have Lucy stopping by Tim's office and he asks if they tracked down Aaron's car yet, and she said no, his security system was off. They struck out at the chop shops, but Lucy has a CI who deals with high end jewelry, so she's hoping to hear back from him tomorrow. Um, and Tim tells Lucy he's having dinner with Angela and should be back by like 8 or 9. Lucy said since she will be in bed by then, she wants to spill the tea now to Tim about how Selena thinks Raj is going to propose. And Tim, of course, is like internally freaking out.
Mhm.
So he kind of plays it off, saying like Selena and Raj are not ready for engagement. They barely know each other. Um, Lucy thinks they make a great couple though, but Tim's like, no, they've been dating for 5 minutes. They're not nearly ready for that stuff. So
Yeah.
he tried. He tried his
Yeah.
best. Um, and I mean, leave it to Angela and literally the next scene to be like, you had the perfect opportunity to ask Lucy which stone she would like. But Tim figured she'd put it all together if he asked her anything else. So that's why he played it off the way he did.
She
Um,
definitely would have put it together for sure.
yeah,
But also,
yeah.
how long have Selena and Raj actually been dating? Like, they were
Like a
dating
year,
last season.
half a year, maybe. I don't
Yeah, I
know
feel like
what it
it.
is in terms of like,
Well, wait, when did she introduce Raj to Nolan?
well, I guess it was kind of towards, I mean, it was definitely the back half of the season.
They're a
I
couple
think.
starting in season 7 with
I mean,
Chaos
yeah,
Agent. They've only been dating since season 7. Yeah, I guess.
yeah. I mean, he's been a part of the rookie universe since,
Yeah,
this like the song and stuff. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Since season 7, episode 10. It's confirmed that they're dating. Okay, okay. But he was, yeah, he was introduced in season 5.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Tim. It's too soon for them to be like talking about getting engaged, for sure.
Yeah.
But also, like, she needs to watch her phone more carefully because
Goodness,
that's a
I
problem.
know. It really is. Um, Poor Tim, was like, he's been to war, but his heart's never beat so fast as it did in that office. So the guy is like crashing out slightly.
Yeah.
Like he needs this to happen. And like, so that's why he's like at Angela's house, really, is to look at the rings and stuff. Um, so he's introduced to Aaron's high-end jeweler friend who said Aaron told him that, their love story was epic, apparently. So he's curated some ring options. But Tim says he's one of Aaron's four acquaintances. So if that's all he has in stock, then that's really not going to work. Um, but the jeweler doesn't like dismiss that or anything. He just asks Tim to talk about Lucy, like what she likes and loves. And so we get this super nice scene of Tim describing Lucy as someone, who loves to help people, getting to know them and their stories. She's kind but fierce, loyal, but don't cross her. And she's funny, but maddening in a good way. Um, and then he's asked like why Lucy is a unicorn to him, which I've never heard that like saying in like this context,
Yeah.
really, but like that was kind of fun though. Um, And Tim says that she makes him feel loved in a way he never felt he deserved. And he's like getting a little misty eyed and it's too cute. And like everyone in the fandom was probably crying in
Yeah.
that moment. It was like too lovely and just like really did like sum up their, at least from like their like, tension before their breakup to like
Hmm.
now where they are. So,
Yeah. And I love how Angela was there and witnessed
mhm.
all of it. And it took
Yeah.
place in the same place where Chenford like broke up, the last time. Or
Yeah,
yeah.
and had that big fight. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But oh my gosh, it was just after hearing everything that Tim said about Lucy, I need it to be in his speech before the proposal. Or like
yeah,
something of that nature with it.
yeah. Or if not, then if we actually get a Chenford wedding, can we like hear some of their vows? That would be nice
Yeah.
as well. But that's far off. We'll see if we get the proposal first.
Maybe not. Well, yeah, but like maybe not. The proposal or the wedding could be in like season 9 probably now.
That's true.
Which,
Yeah.
okay, the fandom was like proposal is happening end of the season. I was like, I don't need that yet. I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm never doubting the fandom ever again. Clearly, like,
I'm not either because I was like, people have really been saying they're gonna like, he's gonna propose, and then like lo and behold, they posted that clip last
yeah,
week. And then it's, like we got one step closer this week.
yeah.
So,
Which,
um,
like, okay, the sneak peek that they dropped was also about the rings. I was like, okay, can we not
yeah,
like spoil it?
that's true.
But like
Yeah.
also like I feel like we had called it when we saw the promo photos, but then like I feel like everyone else did too.
Hmm.
So, of them all like sitting around the computer.
Yeah. Hmm.
But
Definitely.
yeah, I don't know. It's too good. No, we need the full like thing for the Chenford proposal and wedding. No, we're not cutting costs here. We're not like doing a courthouse thing. We're not,
Yeah.
just time jumping it. No, we need the full thing.
Yeah.
We've waited too long.
Yeah. I agree.
Even the other characters have waited too long. Like I know that Angela is just like, I'm your best woman. You were my man of honor. I'm your best woman. We are
Yeah.
doing this whole thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh,
like honestly though, I could see like Nyla like helping Angela though with like the day of stuff, making
uh-huh.
sure nothing else goes wrong, and she'll like threaten whoever,
Yeah.
wants to screw
Yeah.
something up to be like, listen,
Yeah.
everyone has been waiting for this. This has to happen
Yeah.
today.
Especially because like Lopez's wedding was kind of like messed up.
Yep.
Balin's, I think, was fine.
Hmm.
Jayla's, we didn't really have one. Like we had the after party.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, everyone needs to band together and make sure that nothing happens during this one.
Yeah.
Like, I need a full security detail or something.
Yeah. honestly.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to see like the long drawn out like engagement era for them. Like I
Hmm.
don't want them to get engaged in the season 8 finale and then like 903 be married. Like no. I want it to
Yeah.
be like the full, I don't know. I just want like a longer engagement period for them.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
So the jeweler said that he'll think about, what Tim said and come back with more options. Before he leaves, Tim asks him about Aaron being robbed and how, they took his watch. So they wondered if he knew anyone in the high-end stolen jewelry business. He had suspicions, so he could ask around to act as if, like, he had a client looking to buy that particular watch that Aaron had. And so they like kind of nod on that, and then the guy leaves. And after Angela turns to Tim and was like, "That was beautiful what you said about Lucy, and Wesley needs to step it up." Poor Wesley.
Oh, catching strays when he's not even
Yeah.
around.
Yep.
I was hoping
Definitely.
that he would be around though.
Hmm.
Like I was like, where is he?
Yeah. Same.
But maybe like Angela threatened him and she was like, you got to take the kids out because like Tim's coming over and we have important news to discuss or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
I could see her doing that. And
Yeah.
Wesley's like, yes, dear, whatever you say.
Yeah. We love a dutiful husband.
Yeah, yeah.
So then we see back at um Miles and Selena's apartment. Miles now knows that Tim's proposing to Lucy and like confirms this with Selena. Poor Celina, however, is still trying to fix things with her boyfriend, but he's not returning any of her calls. Miles says that's on him, and then as soon as he is done saying that, Raj shows up to talk to Selena. So she explains that she was just trying to figure out what ring Lucy would like because Tim's going to propose. So she acted like her and Rod were getting engaged. But then her phone recorded all of it by accident. So she'd like it if Raj just forgot it all, but she's sorry if it freaked him out.
Hmm.
He's sort of relieved. And she pointed out that, they could have had this conversation hours ago if he had returned any of her calls, for which he apologizes. So that was good.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, Rod like confirms Tim's proposing to Lucy, and Selena says, "Yep, he's picking out a ring right now." But Rod didn't hear that from Selena either. So you know, everyone has to keep the secret that Selena tells them.
She's
Which,
so lucky that she didn't accidentally send that voice memo to Lucy or the one
yeah,
about Aaron. Like,
yeah,
truly, she's
hmm,
lucky.
yeah,
We thought Smitty was the gossip, but it might be Celina, truly.
yeah.
And also, like, Nolan, going back to you, you're not the last person to find out because, like, there's still
That's
Smitty.
very true.
But
That's
also,
very
like,
true.
I feel like Smitty
Yeah,
probably knows. Like, he was probably the first to know somehow.
yeah, yeah. I agree. So Rod and Selena are like, okay, but Rod needs a beer or three. So they're like doing that. We see Selena set her phone on the island and then they talk. Um, and she's talking to Rod. She said, Aaron's taste and Lucy's don't exactly like mesh well. And Selena said Aaron's is giving, late stage capitalism. And when she said, I couldn't quite make out exactly what she said, but it was like, send me something, like a song or something.
Hmm.
I don't know. But that send command, like
Yeah.
that full conversation between her and Raj, sent to Aaron. So that's awkward because,
Yeah.
of course, Aaron's out running and he hears the message and is like, kind of saddened by that. Um, yeah. So poor little Aaron. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like not these besties.
Right. And like you just came back for this episode. Like you didn't ask for that. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raj and Selena were not, that wasn't a good look for them to be saying
No.
that. Like even if that didn't go through his voice memo. Because Selena
No.
is like besties with Aaron.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it sucked.
Yeah. So then later in the episode, we see Lucy and Celina dip out on John and Miles because Tim's got a lead on the carjacker. So Aaron's car, along with a few other nice ones, are being worked on by these, carjackers and their crew. And Aaron sees his car from his binoculars, saying how it's going to take a lot of detailing to get the smell out and fix it up and everything. Um, but then he noticed that Winchell, who works for his jeweler, who we finally find out his name is Pierre, is there at the scene that they are surveilling. So that would explain how he knew about Aaron's watch, but also, goodness gracious, Aaron almost blew it with the ring because, Tim used Pierre too. But at least he saved it for, by saying the same jeweler that he used for himself always. So
Hmm.
he did it as smooth as he possibly could. So I applaud him for that. Although Tim literally looked like he was about ready to like rip his head off.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of
So
surprised Lucy didn't catch on to it just because she catches on to so much else,
mhm.
but she was like so in the zone then,
Yeah,
so it kind of made sense.
yeah. So everything like makes sense though in regards to the crime because if Winchell steals the watch, insurance covers it, and then like they buy a new watch and no one's the wiser. Um, so Tim asks if Aaron thinks that Pierre is in on it, but he can't imagine that he is. Um, Tim gives the call to Metro to roll in on the car crew. Chenford takes one lead. Celina and Aaron get Winchell after a brief fight. We love when besties defend each other, so that was nice.
Yeah.
Um, and he still had Aaron's watch on him, so he like takes it back for a second to feel it on his skin again, telling Celina, it must be the late stage capitalist in him, which is him acknowledging that he knows about the message. So we kind of see him like give her a, cursory glance, and then he goes off with the um criminal in custody, and Celina's kind of,
Yeah.
worried about how that may affect things. So she returns home to find both Aaron and Raj there. She asks if they're good, and Aaron says, yeah, they're good because Raj explained the context. And besides, apparently, Aaron talks trash about Celina too. So he also got her a new phone because her old one clearly hates her. And she thanks them and they hug, like she's genuinely sorry, and he knows that. Um, Aaron's got to go, so he like literally pieces out. And Celina asks what trash he talks. And as the door, like he says, all the trash, and it just the door closes. And I
Yeah.
laughed for like a good, I don't know, like minute at that. It was just like so
Yeah.
perfectly done. It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
I love them as besties and I hope that we get more of it.
Yeah,
But when the promo photos came out and it was like the two of them like looking at each other, it was like the couple that could have been. Like I still ship them as a couple.
yeah,
I do. Do I
yeah.
ship Miles and Selena too? Yeah, a little bit. Like when he was like, well, if Raj didn't answer, then that's on him. Like I just love that Selena has all of these guys like in her corner.
Yeah,
But also like Aaron and Selena. What could have been with them?
yeah,
Truly.
yeah.
I just love that they like, yeah, they had the awkwardness when like she turned him down and everything, but I love that they've like gotten past that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I do want to know what kind of trash they each like he talks about her
Yeah,
and to who, because
seriously.
like no one else knows her, like at his
Yeah,
other station. But
mhm. Very true.
also
So
like
Raj, oh, sorry.
let's not have that be the last that we see of Aaron Thorson, please.
I hope not. I hope
Because
he comes back.
I love him.
Yeah, I agree. I think since they like have brought back so many characters, although granted, like one, has met a tragic demise this season, um, like I feel like they could bring back more people for season 9,
Yeah.
hopefully, which could be cool. Um, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, they brought back like Seth this season. Raj,
Hmm.
Aaron,
Yeah.
Dash. They brought back a
Yeah.
bunch. So they
Yeah.
definitely
Garza.
could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So we then see Raj ask Celina if she wants to hear a new song, and she basically says she just wants to crash for the night. So he gives her a piggyback ride to the room, and that's like the last we see for them anyway. Um, Back at Angela's house, her, Tim, and his mom Joy are sitting at the table looking at the new selection of rings that Pierre brought. Um, Joy thanks Tim for letting her, be part of this, and the rings are lovely. Um, Angela questions if they are affordable as well, and they sure are. Pierre assured her of that.
I love how she's
And
so worried about that. Because she's
I
like,
know
Wesley's money, I can't wait to spend it. But Tim needs an affordable ring. I'm like, okay,
that's so
wait,
true.
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
Because like Wesley's money, like, yeah, she's married into that. But like it's just so funny how she's like so for that. She's like, no, it needs to be affordable. It
yeah,
does. I have a rock on my finger, but like it needs to be affordable for Timothy here.
yeah. That's a fair
I
point.
love it. I love it.
Yeah. Apparently Pierre is throwing in a friends and family discount because had they not stopped Winchell, he would have ruined him and his business. So, um, Tim's like, no, I can't accept that. But Angela tells Pierre that he means thank you and to tell them about the rings. So, he does. And apparently the rings are like vintage and sourced by friends or people that he knows. And while not every bride would want a pre owned ring, Pierre knows Tim said Lucy likes hearing other people's stories, and each ring has its own story. So Joy asks, what they are, and Pierre tells Tim to choose one and he'll tell them the story. So he picks one out. I described it as sort of like a square cut diamond
Hmm.
that's not like outlandish. It's like understated, but like still really pretty and nice and everything. Like, I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
if I mean, because we see it for like a second. Um, so I don't know. I hope we get like another close up though if we do get the
Yeah.
proposal next week, so we can like really see
Yeah.
everything. Um, but yeah, so he picks that one out, and so Pierre tells him the story that the couple that had that ring was friends for many years before realizing they were in love. And afterwards, there were many struggles and things that could have torn them apart, but they overcame all of that and they were together for over 50 years. So that's super sweet. It like resonates with Tim, obviously,
Yeah.
is parallel to Chenford's storyline. Um, in a similar way. And like Angela and Joy look at him with like all the happiness in the world because like it's finally happening and like it's all exciting.
Yeah.
So Pierre asked him if that ring says forever, and he says yes, it does, and that's the one. So, and
Hmm.
we get him smiling for once. For goodness sake,
Yeah.
can we end the episode on Tim Bradford smiling more, please? It
Yeah.
was fantastic. I don't think the man had ever smiled that much in like one episode
Hmm.
in a long while. So
Literally the dopey smile that came across his face. I was like, oh my God, I can't. I cannot.
it was so good.
We have literally seen this man grow so much since the pilot episode. It's insane.
Yep.
Insane. And like I'm sure that he was like this when like he proposed to Isabel, but like with Lucy, it's just different. It's different
Yeah.
than like it was with Rachel, Ashley. Like he's just
Hmm.
different. But
Well, yeah, because remember with Ashley when Lucy was like asking him if he was gonna propose, his face was like his eyes were like wide as saucers.
yeah,
He was like so freaked out, like, no, like
yeah,
that's not where they're going.
yeah. And like now he's just like a lovesick fool. It's
Yep.
so crazy, the trajectory. But
Yeah.
I hope that when he proposes or like after he proposes, likely, he tells her that story. Like, so this ring
Yeah.
came from a couple, like it just, and then she's like, oh, that's us. My God.
Yeah.
All of the fanfics, I actually love that this is happening at the end of the season. So like people can write fanfics all summer
There
and
you
keep us
go.
like, keep us
Yeah.
engaged with it. So
Hmm.
yeah, but oh
Yeah.
my God, so good. I can't believe that like we're actually to this point where they're like potentially gonna get married.
Yeah. I was not, I mean, I understand it in like the way of, them getting back together like solidifies, Tim's belief in like this was meant to, be and work out and everything.
Hmm.
And they put in all this work. I just honestly though was not expecting the proposal to like even come up this season. I was
Yeah.
thinking it was gonna be like a full season of them like, really like still kind of working on things a little bit, which I guess they have. Um, but like, it just went from like love confession, declaration, domestic Chenford, now
Hmm.
proposal, possibly for Chenford.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, it's good that they're taking all these steps. I just was not expecting all of these steps in one season, I guess.
Yeah. Like to me, it feels like it's moving fast, but then I'm also like, they've been friends and in each other's orbit now for 9 years, basically, because like I
Yeah.
count the seasons of the shows as like a year each.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
like,
We don't really know what it is in actual rookie
yeah,
timeline.
I mean, the timeline does not exist.
Yeah.
But I feel like it, they worked together and then they broke up. Like, so now it makes sense for it to kind of move faster because, like, they've already worked through things. Like, they know what makes each other tick, what, like works and what doesn't.
Mhm.
It's just so interesting, like, to see all of this happen and for him to be, like, so okay with it. Because you would think
Yeah.
with his history that, like, he wouldn't be like, yeah, I want to get married again. Like, I want to have kids, all that. Like, you would think that he would kind of be like sworn off with it. But it just goes to show that the right person and time and like therapy and everything can really like solve that. And like, oh my God, it's just the best. It's
Very well
truly the
said.
best. And I love that Angela was there with him every step of the way.
Mm.
More Bropez.
Yeah.
Um, and I love how like the entire station is involved. Because we even see in the preview, Angela's like, you literally have a day to do this because word's gonna get out. And I'm like, who's gonna tell her though? Like, no
Right.
one. They better not. I mean,
Yeah.
Celina very well could if she didn't get her phone fixed. Like,
That's
you
very
know.
true.
But like, I feel like everyone would keep it under wraps. Smitty, you might have to worry about. Celina, you might have to
Mhm.
worry about a little bit, but like, she would keep it under wraps. But like, I mean,
Yeah.
Gray doesn't even know. We need Gray to
Mhm.
find out.
Yeah.
I saw something from the New Zealand convention where someone asked Melissa like what would the Chenford wedding party or something look like? And she was like, well, Gray officiates. Um, I mean, I couldn't totally hear it, but then it was like Angela would be best woman and Kojo Tamara. Tamara would be there
Yeah.
and Celina. And I was like, yeah, the whole wedding party, like everyone needs to be involved in the wedding party. I don't want to see someone like sitting on the sidelines and being like, I'm so happy for them. No, I need everyone involved. And then just like cast a bunch of extras as like the wedding attendees or whatever. But like, no, I need everyone involved in some way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good. I cannot wait to see what happens.
Mhm.
So last but not least, we've Monica and her untimely, can you call it that, demise?
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, so we see Malcolm Walsh on the phone talking to someone saying that he'd be honored to work on Everett's legal team. So we're gonna continue to see this guy,
Yep.
which is fun. Yeah, because we know the preview for next week is Everett. So he ends the call when he sees Monica walking into his office. She needs a lawyer. And she's like, I've heard that you're the best in town. He's like, well, I what? Well, you were, but now you can't work. So,
Mhm.
um, and she needs his help to outsmart the FBI and get paid at the same time. And she's like, I'm pretty sure the feds are already suspicious too. We cut over to Garza and Gray. But the question is, what? does she have up her sleeve? And so Gray mentions Aiden Warner and how Monica played them to get his right-hand man out of the picture. And so we see Monica start putting the wheels in motion on an exit package with Aiden. It got a little messy, but she thinks she's contained it. And in order to get paid, though, she has to sell out Cooper Johnson. So Malcolm's like, that's bold. And Monica adds, it's actually suicidal, but she doesn't have a choice. And she boxed herself in when she made this immunity deal, escaped prosecution, but lost everything. And so I loved that she was like, now all I have to look forward to is witness protection, working at a Cinnabon in some flyover state, and I'd rather die than do that. Like, Monica's like, I don't do well with like just average normal life. I need everything luxury.
Yeah.
So we go back to Gray and Garza, and Garza's like, they should have known that, she wasn't going to be satisfied with Witsec. And she's out to score a retirement package now that she feels the task force is drawing to a close. Gray questions then why Aiden would have given her that. And Garza, it's just like she must have promised him something valuable like them. And so Gray mentions that, Monica told Aiden that she could get the task force to take down anyone he wants. So, conspiring with a known criminal does violate the terms of her deal. So the plan is to act on whatever she gives them, but if they play their cards right, they have the opportunity to take Aiden down and finally put Monica behind bars. So we go back over to Monica and Malcolm, and he asks if she trusts the FBI. And she's like, I don't need to. I have leverage, a cache of stolen government secrets that will be revealed if anything happens to her. Do we think that these stolen government secrets are from that NSA card
I
or
would
whatever
assume
that she
so.
stole from like the bus?
Yeah, I would
Um,
assume so.
that's the only thing that I could think of. So Gray mentions that if they can't arrest her as long as those documents are in play. And Gar's like, yeah, Elena's been working with the cyber unit in DC trying to figure out where Monica hid them. Because ever since Prague, her internet activity has revealed some anomalies. I can never say this word. Anomaly. I can't. Anomalies.
There you go.
I'm having like trouble tonight. I don't know why. Several out of character websites that she visits once a week. And so Grace like, what websites? The way that Felix names all of these off too is so good. I was hoping that
Yeah,
you caught on to that. He's like
yeah, so great.
AutoZone, Domino's, The Gap, like just his entire
Yeah,
expression and just the way that he was like enunciating so clearly
yeah,
each one of these and just like
yeah,
too good, too good.
yeah. Well,
Um,
because he was so shocked, like as
yeah,
Garza is like so shocked by these
yeah,
things, because it's so out of character.
yeah. So Gray's like, well, she is poor now. I I love these two together. I need a spin
Great.
off with them. With
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Um, and
Like
Gar's is
Monica's poor, Tim's poor,
yeah,
everyone's poor on the show now. It's fine.
as if they don't live in LA and like they probably make good money. Like Tim lives in a nice looking house. I mean
He
he's not
does,
that
yeah.
poor to me. And so Garza knows Monica so well, saying that she would rather starve than forego luxury brands, which, yeah, I mean, I could see that. But also, like, she's driving a Ford, like a Ford
Yeah,
Taurus or
that's
whatever,
true. Hmm.
which I don't know. I just thought it was funny. But Gray's like,
Yeah.
well, what does that mean? And they don't know yet.
Yeah.
And so if they take away Monica's leverage, that's it, right? Like, she's going to prison for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Malcolm tells her that once she's burned with the task force, there's nothing keeping Aiden from killing her. And she says that she has to trust that Aiden is a man of his word. But she doesn't trust anyone that much. But the choice is between a dangerous criminal who may shoot her once she's outlived her usefulness and a new life in Kansas. She argues that she will not be living in Kansas. And Malcolm's like, well, you have no choice. You have to roll
Yeah.
the dice. Give the FBI something on Cooper and hope that the whole thing doesn't blow up in your face. So we see Monica get out of her car at the station. Garza and Gray, they're like literally taking bets on who Monica's going to give up. And I love how Gray's like, you want to put 50 on it? And Garza's like, you want to put 100? You've got to bet. Like,
Right.
okay. Um, I feel like that's not the best thing to do when you're cops, but okay. I mean,
Yeah, not
we'll go with
exactly the
that.
most ethical,
With
but
that.
it's fine.
Um, so Garza thinks that it's one of Aiden's rivals, and she walks in to talk with Greg Garza, obviously. Garza is Mr. Sassy today, and I love it. I just love every bit of it.
Yeah.
She says the previous targets were nothing compared to what she has now, and says that when this is over, she's not moving to the middle of nowhere. She needs a coast. And she's like, Maine or Florida don't count. And so she says Cooper's name. And like you can kind of see it on Garza's face. He's like, oh, that's not who I had on my bet, but okay. But he gets serious. He sits down telling her that not very many people turn on him and survive. So she goes over the steps of the operation like it's simple. Raid his operation, stick him in federal prison, put her in witness protection, and like she has nothing to worry about. Monica, Monica, Monica. You've done how many schemes? It's never that simple. It's never that
Yeah.
simple. So Garza and Gray mentioned that this kind of operation takes time, months at a minimum, and they don't have that. And so Monica doesn't have evidence directly linking him to supplying terrorists. And they're looking at prosecuting him for financial crimes, and those are complicated cases to make. And so another agent comes over to set Monica up with their forensics accountant and start going over details. After she walks away, they both reveal that they didn't have Cooper Johnson on their piece of paper. I love how they were both like, well, did you have Cooper? I didn't. And I didn't either. So that's a
Yeah.
wash. And Garza's like, it does make sense though. Like Cooper pushed Aiden out of West Africa, killing four of his lieutenants in the process. For Aiden, this is a smart move, but if Cooper finds out that Monica betrayed him, she's looking at an ugly death. Um, and so we see Monica prepare to meet Aiden and Garza, and, Gray and Garza and Gray are farther back watching. Um, and they need to hear what's going on, obviously. So we see this like little robot get underneath Aiden's car to hear the conversation. And so we hear more. And Aiden says that until Cooper's in handcuffs, like she hasn't delivered anything. She's actually overpromised and wasted her time. And he's gonna give her 24 hours to make it up to him, or he'll tell Cooper that she sold him out to the FBI. So as she walks back to her car, you can see that she's shaken up visibly. I mean, who would it be? And before she gets in her car, she like sees this black cat because she like turns around and like she's heard something. Um, so she's back in Malcolm's office telling him that she met with Aiden the night before. It didn't go well. She's pretty sure that the task force was surveilling her too. And they know that, she violated her deal and, they know that she's trying to get out. So Malcolm's like, well, they haven't arrested you yet, so your insurance is still in play. But for how long is the question? So we cut over to Garza. He says that Elena's found Monica's files. She hid them in redundant subfolders inside the base code of several commercial websites. The cyber unit is in the process of deleting them, so he wants Gray to tell Monica's surveillance team, who I'm assuming is Celina and Lucy, um, to make the arrest. They've got her now. And so she gets an alert, finds out that her leverage has been found. And so they're gonna arrest her now, obviously, for criminal conspiracy and breaking the terms of her immunity deal. And she's on the run again. She has to create some mayhem, and so she asks Malcolm if he has a burner phone. I looked this up because I was like, I feel like it's shady that a lawyer would have a burner phone, but Google says that it's a common practice or it's not a common practice for lawyers to have some burner phones, but some will just so that they can have them on hand for like client use when speaking to them. Um, so she asks if he has a problem with loud noises. And he watches her make this call, and she says he assumes that he just wanted Aiden, but it was actually Cooper, and now she's calling Aiden for her exit package. And so Aiden tells her that the private terminal at LAX will have plane ready at 7 p.m. to take her anywhere, and she'll have 10 million in cash for that. So she leaves her credit cards on Malcolm's desk. She's like, you can charge whatever fees you want to charge. I'm done with these. I gotta go. So he gets an alert that the police are in the lobby coming for Monica. He tells her to like use the back stairs and wishes her good luck. And Lucy and Celina walk into Malcolm's office asking where Monica is. And they're like, we know that you've been meeting with her. And he's like, she left a while ago, but they don't buy that, obviously. So Nolan and Penn have a tail on Monica. There's no way that she thinks that she's gonna outrun them, but obviously she's got another plan in mind. So they walk
Hmm.
into the spa and Nolan's like full steam ahead. But when the worker mentions their clients, he lets Lucy take point because he's like,
Right.
yeah, I can't do that. And so they split up trying to find Monica. We see her ask a housekeeping employee if she would like to make a quick $300. So Nolan and Penn walk past this, employee who has Monica hidden in the towel cart. And so she gets into another area, gets out of the car, runs to find another car with the key fob just in the wheel well of the car. Obviously, that was planted there. She gets in, throws this wig on and sunglasses, pulls a full Rosalind Dyer, and like drives off.
Mm-hmm.
And Nolan, Lucy, Celina, and Penn all run out of the building. Lucy tells him that they lost her. And that's when they get the tip about the carjacking. And so Monica then shows up at Lopez's house for this like really emotionally charged scene, and it was so sad. It was sad.
Yeah.
But Leslie's there at the kitchen table. She just wants to talk and tells him that he can text Angela when she leaves. She won't be there for long. And she's like, I just need to talk to you and I need to be myself. So she takes off her wig. She's saying goodbye, by the end of the night, she'll be gone or dead. And he's like, we can help you if you're in danger. She calls him on it, saying that they both know that it's a lie, even saying that Angela has an arrest warrant in her pocket with Monica's name on it. So Monica or Wesley's just feeling all of the emotions. Like his eyes are glassy. Like he's so like just emotionally like destroyed by all of this. So Monica brings up Professor Chapman, who used to say the law was by human action, not by human design. And she says that she feels like that, she knows she always did exactly whatever she wanted, but she owns every choice that she made, and yet she doesn't know how she got here. So Wesley's like, it's not too late to make another choice, which optimistic Wesley. But Monica's like, no, it is. And she sees pictures of Angela and Wesley and asks him, the person I was before I became all of this, did you really ever love her? And he responds back. He's like, she was terrifying, radiant, and razor sharp. Of course, I loved her. Everybody did. And with that, like, she tells him goodbye, kisses him on the cheek, and leaves.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we had closure for Monica and Wesley with this emotionally charged conversation. And we've had that quite a few times this season.
Yeah.
But, like, I still didn't think that this was how it was gonna, like, end. I don't know.
No. Well, like I also noticed on my second rewatch, like when she leaves, she doesn't take her sunglasses or the wig. Like,
Oh,
was that
yeah.
like intentional or like, because like I feel like her red hair was like a, pretty big giveaway. But if this was gonna end up happening anyway, I guess it really doesn't matter if she has the wig
Yeah.
or not, if the car was already sent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I don't know. I have questions with all this because, like, yeah, like you just said, she didn't take that with her and she left her car there. Or no, I
yeah,
guess the car that she got away with. So,
yeah,
like, I don't know. I mean, are the cops like questioning why she went to Lopez's house? I guess not because, like, everyone knows that her and Wesley, like, had this background,
yeah. But
but
then like how the car like that, was for her airport
yeah.
ride.
How
How
did
did
that get
that find
there?
her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I don't.
Um,
That was another one of my questions because I was like, did she call for this car? No.
yeah,
But did she tell Aiden, like, have this car meet me here? I
yeah.
don't know.
Or if it really was just because she, sold out Cooper and so he
Uh-huh.
found out and then had this car follow her or something
Yeah, I don't know.
somehow.
Maybe it was just following her because it was already waiting there. Like she didn't have to like wait for it or anything.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I thought it was interesting because she arrived in the wig and everything. Like it wasn't like she just had the car like stop, let her get out and like, say all this to Wesley. But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it
I
was
only noticed that
interesting.
on my second watch. I did not
Mhm.
notice that she didn't take the wig and sunglasses with her the
Yeah,
first time. So
yeah. So she walks out, composes herself, gets into the car for her to go to the airport. And it seems like it's a smooth ride. The driver's like, it's none of my business, but like, are you okay? And Monica's like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, I always am. That's my best trick or whatever. Um, and Monica notices that the driver missed the turn to go to the airport, calls it out. The driver's like, no, I didn't. And Monica knows right then that she's screwed. The car comes to a stop. She tries to get out and run, but the door is locked. And she turns around to see the driver pointing a gun at her. And I thought it was really interesting. Like her last words on this show, all she says is, not the face. And then we just hear the gunshots, which kind of feels on brand for Monica Stevens, right? Like she was very much about the vanity and like luxury brands of it all. Like it makes
yeah,
sense that she would say not the face is like her last words.
yeah.
Because I don't know what else she would say. Like
I don't know either because
she,
she wasn't big on letting people see her sweat things,
yeah,
So it's like it's not like she was gonna beg or try to talk her way
yeah,
out of it. Like she knew
yeah.
it was
She
over.
knew that this was the end, yeah. And she was like, she was trying to kind of redeem herself, um
Yeah.
But yeah, so then all we hear are the gunshots. The car then pulls off, and we see Monica's body laying there. The next morning, then we see the crew standing around near her body. Nolan, Harper, Lopez, Gray, Bradford, Garza, and Wesley come up. I love how Wesley like was taken there in a police car and like just gets out and like comes up and Angela grabs his hand. It's a very like somber, sober moment there because they're all like watching, they're all looking, and they're just like, dang, like it's really over.
Yeah.
So. Also that was from Eric's mannequin like trend TikTok that they did like a while ago.
Oh, I
Uh-huh.
didn't put that together. Good
Yeah.
catch.
Yeah.
Wow. Goodness,
Yeah.
no wonder that worked though, because when it panned out or
Uh-huh.
like did the, bird's eye view, there were a lot of people there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
So
wild.
I just like I low-key wish that it would have ended just right there. Or like maybe even with the
I thought
Chenford
it
stuff.
was
Yeah.
like, but it didn't. I mean,
No.
I don't know, because like when I was watching it, I honestly didn't think that anything was going to happen
Yeah.
because she literally always evaded them,
Hmm.
always escaped, like what, two times, and then a third, like the last season or whatever. It just didn't work exactly. Um, but it's like I just really was not expecting it. I also wasn't expecting a woman to shoot her
Yeah.
as well, but maybe that's just me because obviously women can kill people. That's
Yeah.
not that's not unheard of. But I was just like, wow, that was interesting.
Yeah. I thought it was really interesting how, like, thinking back on this whole season, I'm like, okay, Monica, like you said, she's always evaded everyone, right? Like, she was always 10 steps ahead, always looking for her next, like, run. This season, she couldn't. With Prague, she was trying to, and they wouldn't let her. She did get away from them one time, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
But then they ended
Yeah,
up finding her. So, I'm just like, dang, this season they really like had her like in their grasp
yeah,
the whole time.
mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. It would be really like just watching the arc for her over this entire season. Like, yeah, she's been helping the task force, but like really she was helping herself the entire time. Like she was she was the double agent, but she was always
Mm-hmm.
looking out for herself. And so it's so interesting to see how she came to terms with it. Like in this
Yeah,
episode, and she was like, it's done. Like I'm either surviving all of this or not, but like it's done. I can't go any further. And
mm-hmm.
just coming to that conclusion after everything that she's done had to have been like wild for Monica.
Yeah.
Like fictionally, obviously, but
Yeah.
yeah. And I thought it was really good that we had Nolan, Harper, Lopez, Gray, Bradford, and Garza and Wesley like all standing there. Like they've all been affected by Monica. I would say more so like Nolan, Harper, Lopez, Gray, and like Wesley and Garza more so than like Tim. Like I
Yeah.
feel like Tim was, but not in the exact way that like the rest of them were. But he had to be there
Yeah.
because Watch Commander. So
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm trying to think back to like all of the um all of the like scenes that Monica had and like storylines, and I feel like Tim wasn't really involved in a whole lot of it. Like he was a little bit, but it was never like he was like Nolan, like, you know, keeping watch of her over like in Prague or anything. But
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. It was interesting though. And it was like a very somber moment because I mean, our friend Gina had said, and she's like, I don't even think she's caught up on the show, but she had seen the clip on Twitter and um she was like, you know, she liked how they acknowledged that even though Monica was a major villain, like there was still a lot of sadness there with her death and it affected everyone in like a different way. Like I love how
Hmm.
Wesley came up last and he was like, dang, like she did say goodbye to me, but like I didn't actually think that this was gonna happen. So,
Hmm.
and it's been a while since we've seen like a villain actually killed. Like,
Yeah.
you know. So I wonder if this will like play into next episode or if they'll just
Yeah.
like tackle this like season 9 or whatever. Because it's
Yeah.
got to have some kind of fallout for some of them, right?
I would assume so.
Yeah. And we do kind of see it with John and Bailey. Like we go back over to Balin's house and like Bailey asks if he remembers when she said he was going back to work so soon, and he's like, "Yeah, you were so right about that." And she asks how he's doing with the whole Monica thing, and you know, he wanted her off of the street just as much as anyone, but like he didn't want it to end like that. And so Bailey says that she doesn't think there was any other way that it could have ended. Which that part I did like. Like we're seeing that it's affecting the others in a different way. Um,
Hmm.
I would love to see Wesley and Angela kind of talk about it though, because like he had a deeper connection with Monica that like went further back than all of this. And
Yeah.
like Angela, even, I mean, like with all the campaign stuff, like they needed Monica's help with it. So I
Hmm.
hope that like Wesley and Angela have a little moment with it. Um, and so she asks, or yeah, and so she tells him that he should take his pain pills, and he looks over and he's like, I can't reach them. And so she grabs them, and then that's where we leave off. And I'm like, okay, I didn't need that, but whatever.
At least it
So
wasn't a cringe moment.
yeah, yeah, I will give them that. But I have a feeling based on the episode description for next week, that we will have some cringy moments for Balin, maybe,
Possibly.
because he's trying to balance duty and family, which, okay, I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Any other notes for this episode?
No, it was a good penultimate. So I'm
Hmm.
interested to see what the finale will bring.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was good.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was a good penultimate. I feel like this season has just aside from a few episodes which felt more like fillers than anything, I feel like this season has been one of the best seasons for sure. In terms of storylines, just like different character arcs, everything like that. But yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it for us this week. Let us know your thoughts on this episode and more at Shop Talk the Rookie Podcast at gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at the Shop Talk Pod _ along with our individual accounts. I'm at jstark804.
And I'm at Carrie Hyman.
And we're on TikTok as well at the Shop Talk Podcast. We also have merch at shop-talk.dashery.com and TeePublic. And we'll be back next week with our recap of 818, the finale.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. But we are also coming up with some hiatus episodes too. So, if there's anything that you guys want to hear, let us know. So,
Yeah.
until next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Go get him, boo.